Alright, growers, so say you probably grew a pumpkin in the summertime and now it is almost Halloween and spooky season, even though it is only September currently, but it feels almost like spooky season. But now you're probably wondering, if you did harvest your pumpkin in September, you're probably wondering how you can preserve your pumpkins without them rotting. So if you are at the pumpkin patch or at a grocery store, you want to look specifically at the stem, and you want to try to pick out the one that is mostly the most strong one. In this case, my stem kind of snapped like a week ago, but as you can see, it kind of healed itself on top. But I'll show you a photo of what it looked like. And if you are at the store or the pumpkin patch, you want to pick the one that doesn't have any bruises or any soft spots, as those can be like a sign of like rot. But in this case, he is pretty good and solid, as you can hear. He sounds pretty nice. But you don't want to get your pumpkins if they're cut or bruised, just because those guys can rot a lot faster and earlier compared to the ones that are nice and healthy, like Casper the pumpkin. But you're probably thinking, Aiden, I kind of want to grow a pumpkin for Halloween and obviously carve it. Which is, the answer is you can do that, but if you do harvest it a little too early from the plant, that's when obviously the time of the pumpkin will slowly click away, because there's so much limited time. Once you cut into the pumpkin, it'll lose all that air, and since it's outside, if it is carved, it will lose all of its like mass and everything, and it will slowly mold and rot, and by Halloween arrives, it'll obviously look like nothing. So you just want to try to keep it inside in like a cool area, or somewhere that's warm and shady, in like somewhere outside or inside, better for the pumpkin, just because they like to be in the cooler air. It is like October and you do decide to harvest and cut your pumpkin, but you don't want to obviously have the time clicking on your pumpkin, is you can actually get bleach or vinegar and a little bit of water, put that in a spray bottle, and also just want to like spray all around your pumpkin and then the inside of the pumpkin. And then you also want to let it completely dry as well before you put a candle or some type of light in your pumpkin if it's a jack-o'-lantern. But if you do all these tricks and tips correctly, it should last all the way until October. But for me, I picked Casper off the vine like maybe 3 weeks ago, and he's still looking pretty good and solid. But I'm probably gonna make him into like a pie, since he's like a cooking pumpkin. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and hopefully learned something about how to pick out the right pumpkin and not the wrong pumpkin. And I'll see you in the next one, and keep on growing.